The Power of One Decision. Chapter 7. Decisiveness as the Ultimate Leadership Skill. True leaders are not defined by how loudly they speak or how charismatic they appear in a crowd. They earn their position through something far more powerful and often quieter: the ability to decide clearly and act when others hesitate or waver. Decisiveness stands as the cornerstone of effective leadership because it transforms uncertainty into direction, doubt into momentum, and potential chaos into coordinated progress. When one person steps forward with a firm choice, it sends a ripple through any group, whether that group is a family gathered around the dinner table, a small project team facing a deadline, a large organization navigating change, or even an individual confronting personal challenges. Your capacity to make timely, thoughtful decisions builds trust among those who look to you, generates forward energy for everyone involved, and quietly establishes the behavioral standard that others begin to follow. Consider what happens in moments of ambiguity. Groups naturally look for signals of confidence and clarity. When a leader pauses indefinitely, weighs options endlessly without resolution, or shifts direction with every new piece of information, the people around them absorb that hesitation. Energy drains, morale dips, and progress stalls as individuals second-guess their own contributions. In contrast, the decisive leader cuts through the fog. They gather necessary information, weigh it against core values and goals, and then commit to a path. This act alone reassures others that someone is steering the ship with purpose. Trust grows because people sense reliability. They know decisions will be made, resources will be allocated, and efforts will align toward a shared outcome, rather than dissipating in endless discussion. Decisiveness proves especially contagious in any collective endeavor. One decisive individual in a group raises the overall standard without needing to issue commands or deliver motivational speeches. Others observe the pattern. Problems are addressed directly, opportunities are seized rather than debated into oblivion, and accountability becomes natural because choices have clear owners and timelines. In a family setting, for example, a parent who decisively sets boundaries around screen time or weekly routines creates stability that children internalize as normal. In a workplace project, a team lead who chooses a clear priority among competing tasks prevents scattered efforts and allows everyone to focus their best energy. Even when leading only yourself through personal goals, decisiveness prevents the internal drift that turns aspirations into forgotten wishes. The single decisive person models a way of being that invites imitation, often without conscious effort. The benefits of decisiveness extend beyond inspiration to tangible improvements in group performance. When a leader decides promptly, bottlenecks disappear. Projects maintain momentum because resources flow toward chosen priorities instead of lingering in debate. Team members experience reduced ambiguity, which frees mental energy for creative problem solving and execution rather than anxiety over shifting directions. Studies in organizational behavior have long suggested that environments with clear decision-making foster higher engagement, as people feel their efforts contribute to something directed and purposeful. Accountability strengthens naturally, since decisions come with ownership. The leader who chooses also stands ready to review results and refine the course if needed. This creates a culture where learning from outcomes replaces blame for imperfect predictions. Decisiveness also enhances problem-solving capacity at every level. Challenges arise constantly in any human endeavor, from minor daily obstacles to major strategic shifts. A decisive leader addresses them proactively instead of allowing them to compound. By choosing a response, even an imperfect one, the leader opens the door to real-world feedback that reveals what works and what requires adjustment. This iterative process turns potential setbacks into opportunities for refinement. In contrast, prolonged indecision allows small issues to grow larger while eroding confidence. The decisive approach maintains agility, enabling groups to pivot effectively when new information emerges. Importantly, decisiveness does not equate to stubbornness or a refusal to listen. The strongest leaders combine firmness in commitment with humility in evaluation. They invite input before deciding, listen carefully to diverse perspectives, and then synthesize that information into a coherent choice. Once made, the decision receives full support until evidence clearly warrants revision. This balance prevents the pitfalls of both authoritarian rigidity and democratic paralysis. It signals respect for others while preserving the forward motion essential to leadership. To develop decisiveness as a personal skill, begin with awareness of your own patterns. Notice moments when hesitation arises, perhaps during planning sessions, family discussions, or solitary goal setting. Identify the underlying causes: fear of error, desire for approval, or overwhelm from too many options. Awareness itself weakens the grip of indecision. Next, practice on smaller scales to build the muscle. Each day, select one area requiring a choice and apply a straightforward process. Clarify the desired outcome, assess available facts and potential consequences, consult trusted sources if time allows, then commit to a specific action with a reasonable timeline. Follow through fully, and afterward, reflect briefly on what unfolded. What information proved useful? What surprised you? How did the act of deciding affect your sense of agency and the responses of others? Over weeks and months, extend this practice to larger matters. In group settings, volunteer to propose a clear recommendation, rather than waiting for consensus to emerge organically. State your reasoning openly, invite discussion, and then guide the group toward resolution, rather than leaving the matter open-ended. Stand by the choice once agreed upon, demonstrating reliability, even if initial results require tweaking. Your consistency becomes a model that encourages others to adopt similar habits. Colleagues, family members, or team participants begin to mirror the pattern because they experience its benefits firsthand. Reduce stress, clearer roles, and shared progress. Decisiveness also strengthens personal leadership, the quiet governance of your own life. When you decide to rise at a consistent hour, pursue a meaningful skill, or address a lingering conflict, you reinforce your internal authority. Each right choice compounds, building self-trust that spills outward into every relationship and responsibility. You become someone others naturally turn to in uncertain times because your track record shows the ability to navigate them. Challenges to decisiveness will appear. External pressure, conflicting advice, or fear of consequences can tempt delay. In those moments, return to core questions that anchor sound judgment. Does this choice align with my deepest values and long-term aims? Will action here serve the greater good of those involved? Am I willing to accept responsibility for the outcome and adjust as reality unfolds? Answering honestly provides the clarity needed to move forward. Remember that perfect decisions rarely exist. Timely, principled ones usually suffice and often prove superior to prolonged waiting. Ultimately, decisiveness distinguishes leaders who merely occupy positions of authority from those who genuinely elevate the people and purposes they serve. It inspires trust by demonstrating care through action. It creates momentum by converting intention into reality. It sets standards by showing that progress favors the bold yet thoughtful. Whether your sphere of influence spans a household, a classroom, a company, or your private aspirations, cultivating this skill equips you to meet life's demands with steadiness and purpose. Practice this principle this week in a deliberate way. Identify one situation, large or small, where a decision is needed within a group or for yourself. Gather thoughts efficiently, choose a clear direction, communicate it with calm confidence, and follow through while remaining observant of results. Notice the difference it creates in energy, relationships, and outcomes. Your example, however modest, becomes a beacon that others may follow. In time, decisiveness evolves from an occasional effort into a natural expression of your character. This quality, honed through repeated application, elevates not only your leadership, but the collective capacity of everyone touched by your choices. It reminds us that leadership at its best flows not from charisma or volume, but from the quiet strength of one who decides when it matters most. Embrace it fully and watch how one person's commitment to timely, thoughtful action reshapes possibilities for many. The path forward opens precisely when you choose to walk it with resolve.